love that intro. That's ace.
The guy next to you there is the one that was responsible for it.
I know. Sammy
What's up,
Spectacular.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. Another episode of the Fin Faithful podcast. We got a loaded one for you today. The Dolphins back on the practice field. Jaguars week. Tomorrow's the joint practice with the Jaguars. Then on Saturday, they have their last preseason game, which we will be live post-game, a Saturday night special on the Fins Faithful here. So make sure you tune into that. We're going to get into all what happened in practice today. We got some newcomers who practiced, some guys who didn't practice. We'll give you all the buzz there. And then we're going to get into the most important Dolphin players. And I want to repeat this before everybody kind of gets all the knives out. It's not the best players, right? It's not the best. I know Curtis and I had a conversation backstage. It's not the best. It's the most important kind of guys who are going to be critical for their success. Other than kind of the main guys. There are some of the top players on the list, but we'll get to all that. And to help me do all that, I'm joined by, of course, Curtis, Ace Per Head. You know him on YouTube, and Finn Sammy from Finn's TV, both friends of mine, both friends of the show. Fellas, how's it going tonight?
Good evening.
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. I'm getting flustered, though, man. The more I'm thinking about certain things, I'm getting flustered. My German nature in check.
It's got to come out. It's got to come out tonight. Hopefully, come.
Got some John Gruden vibes like this.
Yeah, John Gruden. And of course, we're live with you guys on YouTube. Thumbs up, the little thumb up, the little bell. Hit it. It takes a second. And also flood the chat. We love it. In the comments below, keep them coming. I respond to everyone. All right, so now we got the business out of the way. All right, fellas. So back on the field today. Let's start this. Let me get you who wasn't there before we get into who was there. The A-Chain wasn't practicing. We'll get into a little bit more of that. Tyreek Hill, Andrew Meyer, Addison West, Austin Jackson, Kendall Sheffield, Ethan.
He was on the bike. Jackson was on the bike.
Jackson was on the bike. He's in a boot.
Should we get into Tampa right now? All this time spending on that bike.
Yeah, he was in a left boot actually too. So that's the reason. Hopefully he's ready week one. Kendall Sheffield, Ethan Bonner, who has the hamstring injury, who's going to be out. Ashton Davis actually could be a little bit ahead of schedule. I was projecting him to start on the IR. Dante Trader Jr. and Kenneth Grant wasn't there, and I actually reached out to find out. Nobody knew what was going on yet, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we cannot afford to lose him week one. But we do have some guys who did show up today for the first time in practice, and I don't think I got any of you guys' opinion. Matthew Judon practiced today. We had the orange sleeves. Actually, looked like he made a little bit of an impact.
Two sacks.
Yeah, 2 sacks. We'll start with you, Curtis. What's your kind of thought when you heard about the signing, and what do you think the ripple effect, if any, if there is?
Oh, I just love his name, Judon, man. It's like some kind of like superhero name. I wanted us to get him a while back. He's got a lot of violence in him. He's a veteran. A guy who was a super stud at one point. For $4 million, putting him in a rotation, I have no concerns about it. I'm happy about it. The only thing I'm not is that I heard a lot of rumors that maybe Phillips is on the move, and that's why they did it. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, he brings experience. He brings physicality. He could play the edge. He can play the run. He could do everything, a little bit of everything, and he brings that violence that we need. So I'm happy.
Sam.
Well, I want to first talk about Judon. He's going to look very, very well in that number 8, that Russian.
I don't know about handsome, all of us. Maybe 2 of the 3 of them. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you for that, I guess. Judon, I want to talk first about Judon because I kind of excited about this signing. I think it's an underwhelming signing because, of course, he's at the later part of his career. I think he's going to look very, very well with that number 8, As a pass rush is really cool. Aesthetics, I love aesthetics, but still, the Dolphins sometimes lack that kind of an inside rush kind of guy. So I expect him to play them all over the field, probably in the inside when the substitution of pass rush situation. So I think that's something that Chris Greer probably was looking at. He could not find anywhere on the roster. So we know Kenneth Grant, he has some abilities and stuff, but to have someone on third down, you can pull so many packages with Chubb, with Phillips, with Chop, and have Judon in the inside. That's sort of something I'm really excited about. So the fact that he already picked up so fast today with 2 sacks, that imagine if it came to camp and he's riding the bike or he's in the side
like
condition.
somebody else. Yeah.
He's right. He helped ride over 2 sacks. I think that's great. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, and I said this here. It's more. I know you mentioned Curtis the trade thing. I don't think that's the case.
I just heard from some people. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was out all day.
But what I think it does is it puts those guys on a pitch count a little bit. You got other guys. You don't have to play Phillips for this many plays.
That's what I hope.
Yeah, and also I think they're just building strength on strength, right? They feel like let's just build on what we already have. Who out there is going to help us at corner? Rasul Douglas is not. I hear this name, Rasul Douglas. He's not moving the needle, fellas. You already got Rasul Douglas on this roster. You picked up Jack Jones. They're building. I told you in March the front seven was the key for this team. This is what they wanted to do. They're just building on another strength. You want to negate a Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen? Pass rush negates those guys. So that's their kryptonite. So I agree. I love the signing. Moving on to Waller. Waller was out there stretching with the helmet. Technically didn't practice. I'll start with you, Sammy. First of all, I think we might be overemphasizing the tight end need on this team as far as the involvement. They're going to run a lot of 11 personnel. So maybe they get away with tight end, the Jonah stuff with NWI and other guys. So maybe they can get by with just, the Hills and the Wallers and what they got. But how confident are you guys this guy week one is going to be with all this time off is going to be ready? Do you expect a lot of rust for Waller?
If we're going by confidence, not much. Coming back off a retirement, basically, that's the kind of guy you usually say that if he's not conditioned by now, he's not going to be conditioned by week one. So he lost 2 preseason games. He's behind on the offense. This offense is complex for so many players. When there's so much movement in so many positions that to pick it up is not easy. So you have the conditioning stuff and you have the playbook stuff. So for him to make an impact week one, I will be really, really surprised. So my expectations are not at the height at all on Waller right now.
Curtis, how much? Get on that point. How much you think this offense really doesn't call? I mean, last year was kind of their changeup was to go everything underneath and kind of offset with how the defenses were playing. But the offense doesn't really require a lot of Mike McDaniel, a lot of tight end involvement in the passing game. Really, if you think about it, are we overstating the need for a tight end and how? Because you agree there's going to be a lot. I think there's going to be a ton of 11 personnel, that 3 wide receivers. This year. So that kind of minimizes, and you could use NWI maybe in that zone kind of where, and he can still block. I've said this many times. Are we overemphasizing that? And do you expect a lot of rust here week one with him? Because I thought he'd be a little closer to be ready.
Yeah, for me, Waller was a back end trade. If you can get 38, 35 catches from him, 15 critical first downs, and maybe 4 touchdowns. And, over the course of a season, that's not bad. I mean, it's really not about bulk stats. It's about critical moment stats. So if you're coming out in 11 personnel and you got Westbrook inside and Malik inside and Waddle and Hill on the outside, there's a lot of guys to pay attention to. And maybe Waller, who is a good vertical guy, can get that first down as the tight end. So if you can get, just a handful of critical plays from him, it could help out a ton. Really, for me, the blocking is probably the biggest thing. And I don't really see Julian Hill can't block. Farrell Brown's less than advertised. Yeah. Waller can't really block too well. So I think the blocking of the tight end is more important because if you have the 11 personnel, you got to run the football on occasion out of that 11 personnel. And it demands sort of a better run blocker, and we don't have it. I mean, I know he likes to put guys on the crack and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think he's okay. He's got to do something or it's going to be a big black eye for us. If he does nothing and he's an OBJ, it's a black eye for us because we look stupid. But, like I said, just a handful, like 10 or 15 big plays on a season. And, I think that's worth it.
Shout out to the chat. Jonathan, what's up, man? DR, Cap. Everybody, thanks for joining in. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Help support us. Keep it going. Everybody come join us. We got Curtis Ace per head. We got Finn Sammy from Finn's TV. We're breaking down the latest news from practice. Plus, we got our most important players. We got some graphics, and we'll explain it all when we get there. All right. So, A-Chain not practicing today. And there was a report he could be out 3 weeks, something like that. It's a calf injury, excuse me. Those can get worse if you come back too soon. I will agree with that. Let's just say he misses a 1 week, right? Where are we going? Where are we going at running back? Are you rolling the dice? Because if you're asking me who's earned it, and I kind of be excited week 1, let's get a new power look back there with a 220-pound rookie. You rolling the dice or you playing it safe with Jalen Wright? If A-Chain misses a week, I mean, they probably still need to add to the room. But we'll start with you, Curtis. How are you handling that?
It's a really weird situation. So I like him a ton, Ollie Gordon. But if you go, Chris Coffin put a great stat out. Over the course of the preseason, he's had 10 yards before contact. And then Wright's had -1 yard before contact. And both those guys are not really good at the outside zone. They're good at in between the tackles, inside zone. And you got to get them some yards before contact. I looks great when he gets a little space. I mean, really good, shockingly good. Surprisingly good. I heard a lot of people talking about him, but the power to see him like shake people off like fleas was impressive. But if he doesn't have that space inside, and when he gets to the line of scrimmage, you know he's not a threat on the outside zone. I like Ollie as a pass blocker. He looks like he's a better catcher than Wright. But Wright's got a little bit more speed. Wright is a little better on the outside, but he fumbles now and he can't pass block. So it's a quandary. If A-Chain's out for any period of time, it's a real hit for us. I think if you had Ollie Gordon on a semi-decent offensive line that can get you semi-decent yards before contact inside zone, I think he'd be fine because he can pass block and he can catch. So I'd probably end up going with him because he can provide a lot of different stuff for you.
Yeah, and before we get to you, Sammy, I agree. I told you the two things come out of the draft that separated that 23 and 24 season was the decisiveness and the ability. He wasn't breaking arm tackles like he was. And he's already not – he's a 4'6" guy. But when he's not decisive, he looks like 4'8". Now, no, you look at him now, he's quick, he's decisive, it makes him look faster. He looks faster than Jalen Wright sometimes and Jalen Wright's a 4.38 guy because Jalen Wright is not decisive. His vision it's been horrible. He's hesitating, he's not confident, and his pass blocking is not great, and he's fumbling the ball. You want a perfect storm of not playing, that's what it is. Ollie Gordon, by no question right now, I'd move up to number running back 2. I'd give him Saturday starting in the preseason, give him the start, right? Let's see what he can do. I'm sure some ones will play. I don't know about – we'll get to that now, but I would give him the start. Great, like Jonathan says here. Problem with the team is McDaniel is he won't experiment. He'll mix it up, run with Ollie with the 2s, Quinn with the 2s. He'll run them with the 1s and see what you have. I want to see Ingram, Kamara, snap share. Okay? All right, so Sammy, you, Gordon or I think I know where you're going, but Gordon or Wright?
Well, before I go to that, if you allow me, I want to talk about first about A-Chain. Now, if A-Chain is out for lengthy time is a killer for the Dolphins because other than Zach Leader last year, he was our Fins TV MVP runner-up because A-Chain was huge for the Dolphins. Season. So you cannot underestimate the value that someone like A-Chain has. So this is key. This is important. If he's out for a long time, a calf, I'm not an expert, but everybody knows that can turn into a knee injury, an Achilles injury. Yeah. So because and you know with Jalen Phillips, when you try to compensate other parts because you're not ready to come back for injury, you know how Jalen Phillips stood last 2 seasons how come. Yeah. So it's very worrisome. So it feels like we cannot get you cannot get our foot out of the place. So we're back in the home play again every time things are starting to go right. But it's complicated because I had great expectation for Jalen Wright this season. He went on a media tour. We covered that on Fins TV, how he felt confident. He worked during the offseason. He looks like he's in great shape. But somehow, for someone who went on a media tour and you spent a lot of confidence, he's not running with a lot of confidence. When you see the game, he's tentative. He's not sure where he's supposed to go. I think he's regressed. And, of course, it's early. It's kind of early. It's not early. It's kind of early, but it's time for put up a shut up. He went to the media tour. I expected a lot more from him, so it's very worrisome. Ollie Gordon, small doses of Ollie. If he come, we talked so many times, you and I, George. If he come out of the draft last year, he probably been maybe a third round pick. Who knows? Maybe a second round pick for a running back. You never know. He had a great season. So the small doses of Ollie Gordon, you can see more decisiveness, better pass catching ability, better running. So it's tough because that job is supposed to go to Jalen Wright. That was basically a given. Ollie Gordon was supposed to be the bonus, the cherry on top of the sundae. But as of right now, it looks like Ollie Gordon probably we're gonna need him to step up. Asian is out for a lengthy time, so it's where it was supposed to be one of the strongest positions in the roster, and now before week 1, we're debating where we're going from here. So
Dolphins.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So it is what it is every single year.
We got in total 115 people watching on all platforms.
Sweet.
If you guys are watching somewhere else, come on, jump on YouTube with us. Join the chat, ask the questions. We're having a good time here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Help support us. Help the algorithm. And it helps everything, even the comments below. And I truly appreciate it. Really, sometimes you get one. You can have a bad day, and then somebody give you this kind, positive comment. It changes.
I know, right?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. All right, so speaking of the preseason game here on Saturday, how would you guys approach this? Tua, they didn't play last week, so I imagine they're going to get a little bit of playing time here because then they'll be going into the regular season if they don't, not playing since August 10th, the first preseason game they had against the Bears. So I imagine they'll get some reps. I would like to see, again, the last week, the rookies and the corners got a lot of reps. I want to see Jonah, the starting offensive line, get at least a quarter. Jonah can play 3 quarters if he wants. He needs the reps. He needs it. Tua, if he has a good series or two and it ends on a good note and a touchdown, take him out. But, yeah, specifically the cornerbacks, the offensive line, I want to give him some reps. So, Curtis, how would you handle this kind of would you play the guys a lot, little, or none?
For me, I would have really liked to seen them get the bulk of the reps week 2 and then just take these next 2 weeks off on extended bye.
How I would have played it, yeah.
But it's hard because rookies, they're used to a 10-game schedule or something with they playoffs or something. I don't really watch much college, but now you're asking a guy to come in and play 17 games and then pick up a bunch of preseason time. That's also a way to gas him out. It's a quandary because they're rushing the kid in and they're depending on him. Jonah is so important because it's Eichenberg.
Jonah's what?
It's very important.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that.
Extremely important. Extremely important. And so it's hard because they played him a half. None of the other starters played a half. And so they see what we see and we know is that he needs it. But from my evaluation, he's a ways away. And I don't know if the reps are going to do it because some of the stuff should have been resolved a long time ago. But then you got all the other guys. It's hard to say. I think they should get these guys, the starters, at least 1 or 2 drives. You got to bring your starters in, get some success. But who knows? Mike Daniel likes the analytics. So, I don't know. What does the analytics say?
I don't even know what that means, the analytics anymore. Samuel, how would you handle it?
Well, I hear Curtis talking. I was just about to check the Miami weather for this weekend because it reminded me so much of that time. I think it was Joe Philbin played long defensive tackle.
I was just talking about that today.
Last preseason game, and you know what happened?
Guy's career went down
after the season went to hell.
Yeah.
So I'm not huge on the last game of the preseason for the players to play. Yeah. If I was me, I would use the game just to evaluate the 3, 4s, and 5s. That last spots of the rosters to see what they have. I would play Zach Wilson the whole game. I don't want to see Quinn Ewers anywhere near. I don't want him in the silence. I don't want to get him hurt. I know there's chance for him to take the second the backup quarterback job. Quinn Ewers, I like him. I wanted him in the draft. I want him stacked on the bench. I want to develop him quickly. I don't care. You can do whatever you want. You're the chance about he should replace Tua or even he should be the number 2. I don't care. I want Zach Wilson. If Tua goes down, the season went to crap. So I don't care. I don't care. Let Zach Wilson play the whole freaking game. We don't have a fourth quarterback, so I think it's Zach Wilson all the way. And with the ones, with the 2s, with the 3s, with the 4s, I don't care. I just want to evaluate I want to evaluate the 5th wide receiver and the 6th wide receiver. I want to evaluate the kick return and the punt returns. I want them to evaluate the gunners in special teams. I want to see who's going to be that last defensive end because the defensive tackles are set. I want to see the safeties do what they can do. And the offensive line, the back of the offensive line sucks. So run the ball, protect the quarterback, and let's see what happens. But if I were me, I don't want the stars near any time the action. You know what happened to see the Lambs and the Cowboys. So I don't want near the silence. I don't want to near the silence or Tyreek. I don't want anyone near the silence.
On team,
move back.
You're on team. No play, no bets.
No, not even
remember,
one.
It'll be August 10th that they have played. Then we're going into September. When's the opener? The 7th.
It's the 7th. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going almost a month. Tua can play without playing any preseason. I'm more worried about the other guys. That's why your point, Curtis, probably should have played some against the Lions.
It's 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks before the season.
Right. But they didn't play till the 10th. They didn't play. They played that first preseason game. The rookies and the corners did. But so I'm somewhere in the middle of you guys. I play Tua a series or 2, especially a series or 2. If he has a good drive on the first series, let's go off on a high note.
And what happens if it doesn't have a good drive?
You can't.
Then we're going to have the confidence shuttle for week 1. No, George, no.
Okay.
No. I want to see Tua play. I'm anxious to see Tua play, but I don't want it near the touching the ball. No. A bad snap.
Not with the Dolphins luck.
No. No, George, please don't. Please. Okay, I need to convince you. Please,
all right. I won't argue with you. I've never seen you this convicted. I will not argue with you on this one.
Yeah, Curtis says that's so Dolphins. Yeah. You cannot keep doing the same things and expect different results. If they do that, you know what's going to happen, George.
Preach, Sammy. They're saying preach.
Come on.
I just like my.
Could you imagine that if we lose a major player before? Oh man!
If you go by
suicide alert.
Equal, if you're going by everything equal, you are completely 100% right. You're right about that.
In this case with
the
Tua,
Dolphins, no.
Well, not even the Dolphins, specifically with Tua, right? Not even the Dolphins.
Warren misses a block and Tua gets his leg rolled up. Oh gosh!
I don't want to see a fumble because it's a preseason game and Tua goes
first. So no starters at all. No starters. I think the corners. I think the offensive line.
Savania, yes, I would like to see Savania play.
But you're saying
yes, that's a starter.
Similar to last week. Corners, maybe and rookies, like the young corners. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see corners. I want to see the battle for safety. But Tua. No.
I just like the second game because then you get an extra.
I got a supporter in here.
You get that extra week. I just don't like playing it at this point. I think they should have just done it the first 2 weeks and then
I agree
the third one be the backup.
Mike, the check is in the mail.
All right, so you bring up the point, Sam. You brought it up. I was going to ask you next. If let's say they go with your way, Sammy, no starters.
Okay. Yeah.
Which quarterback you want, and which quarterback you want starting?
I told you already. I want Sam Wilson to play the whole game.
He needs as many reps as possible.
I don't want Kim Rivers anything near under center in this game. I want them on the bench for the rest of the year. I want him the rest of the year.
Zach Wilson is freaking Zach Wilson. It's not changing in 4 quarters.
But that's the guy they
4
signed.
months or 4 years. Okay.
Well, what the hell do I know? I wanted Mike Jones for backup Tua, but what the hell do I know?
I want to see yours against a little higher competition. I want to see him with a bumped up receiver group playing against a bumped up defense.
I want to see him next year. Next year's preseason. I want to see that as the backup Tua. I want to see him next season.
Go ahead, Curtis. Break the tie.
I just didn't see you, George. You know I love you.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Break the tie here, Curtis.
Look, the reality is if you're relying on Ewers for the season, you're cooked. So
if you rely on Wilson or Ewers, you're cooked.
Yeah, I know, but
kind of, yes.
You got some hope with Wilson against a lower end team. So maybe just because maybe he just needs more time because he's supposed to sit for weeks.
I want to know what we got. I want to see Ewers. He's been practicing well. I want to see what he is against a little bit tougher competition. instead of playing with Theo Weiss and Andrew Armstrong, let me see him with a better O-line and Malik.
We don't have a better O-line. The starters aren't starting.
Right. No, but I'm saying if they give the
I know.
line of Porter, let me see what he does with Malik Washington and Taj Washington, right? Like, let me just see, because honestly, man, this is a conversation. This offense, yours is a way better fit in this offense, regardless of his age, than Zach Wilson. Zach holds on to the ball too long. His presence is awful. His processing speed's awful.
He doesn't fit. It's just like Brissett again. Like what's and what's his face from last year? I don't know what they think.
Mike White, Skylar Thompson. Yeah. That's the one positive thing. They got a quarterback they can develop as a backup because he can do some things. He's not Tua, but like he does those level throws in between two levels. He does have a skill set that you finally can maybe teach your quarterback. Tua can help him. Hey, this is what I do. He has the ability to do some of that. You're not going to get the same thing, but we finally have somebody who I think can do some of that. That's why, eventually yours is going to be the backup of this team. I have no doubt. Go ahead, Sammy.
Well, I know Zach Wilson sucks. We all know that sucks. But I'm in the belief that
Mike McDaniel doesn't know.
Well,
no, politically, they're not going to do it.
They're not going to say it now, but
yeah,
I've always believed, and Zach Wilson aside, I always believe that for my backup quarterback, I want a backup quarterback that's mobile, that can improvise on the run, and that can throw the ball deep. That's the kind of backup quarterback I want, because usually the backup quarterback is not up to speed. If he has to come in the middle of the game, he better run for his life, and he's probably in the game losing the game, so he needs to make a comeback. So the deep ball works. So usually for my backup quarterback, I can run, throw on the run, mobile, and can throw the ball deep. Zach Wilson fills the bill in that regard. His decision making, we all know. His accuracy, that's a joke as of right now. But it is what it is. So if Tua goes down, we're going to be playing for a high draft pick, because there's no quarterback on earth that Mike McDaniel puts in there, and Mike McDaniel is capable of running it up with, because Mike McDaniel can just make an adjustment. That's the truth. Not any single quarterback other than Tua is going to work. So we're splitting atoms here, but at the end of the day, it won't matter.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree. I agree on that.
Shout out to 180 people we have on all platforms watching. Thank you guys for joining us. Jump on over to YouTube with Sammy and Curtis and I. Kind of join the chat. Give us some questions. We're about to go through the list. You're the most important. I should explain this before we get into it, guys. Right?
I think your thing is it's the most important that they step up.
Yes, it's the most. Put it this way: we know Tua's expectations, Tyreek. These guys have a chance to either move the needle up or down of the roster. They're important for what they do, not only because where the strength and weaknesses of the position groups are, but and we'll have on a couple guys. We'll have a few clips. Curtis and I will really get into that. All right, you guys ready for the most important list? This is not in order, but you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, ready.
Boom, boom, boom. Number one.
Yeah, that's easy.
And wait, I decided to do this show because when we were talking about last show on Patrick Paul, I go, man, he's not the best player, but he's the most important. I mean, all reasons we know why. He's been continuing improvement in camp. He looks so much thinner and leaner. Technique is still bad at times, but I always say length is strength. He has as good as it gets. And
strength is strength too, and he's got both of them.
Yeah, and he
covers over a multitude of sins.
And he's quicker. He's in better shape, and there's nobody. The Will Smith gif when he's looking around the room. There is not a left tackle on this roster that is NFL caliber level. They will be in trouble. Out of anybody in this roster besides Tua, they cannot lose him to injury. Cannot. Keon Smith's not good enough.
We got Eichenberg and Austin Jackson. Isn't that enough? Come on, man. We trust that in Butch Barry, Jackson, and Eichenberg. We trust.
Who's the guy in the middle?
That's a joke.
So
the monkey in the middle, Steve. I'm the monkey in the middle.
And I got news for people. There's no free agents or guys who are going to get cut that are capable of even being filled in at left tackle. Those guys do not live on the streets, and those guys, they don't make many of them. So when they are in the league, they do not get cut, right? Unless you make a trade or a shocking trade or somebody falls, shakes from the tree. This guy is behind Tua, probably the most important player, not the best.
Exactly.
They cannot lose him. We'll start with you on this, Sammy.
But for sure, after this should be the more important players after Tua, because Tua for sure number one.
Yeah,
we
Tua is out of the conversation. For those who say Tua is the most important one, we know. George knows, of course, he knows that. Patrick Paul, for sure, if you ask me, is number 2. Like for the reasons you just said, there's no way you can get. Maybe they have Terron Armstead ready. You better warm up in the silence and get into the game if he can, because other than Terron Armstead, there's no free agent tackle anywhere in the league that you can put in and plug and play like Patrick Paul does. So other than Tua, Patrick Paul for me is number 1, hands down. There's no one more important team other than him. Just because of what you said, there's no replacements. Yeah,
what they said.
DR said, which team is stacked at backup tackle? Agreed, but you have to have a level of competence and depth at that position, and we don't have that, right? Curtis, you want to get into Patrick Paul and kind of answer DR's question?
Well, look, I mean, you look at the Chargers right now. They lost Slater, and now they got Pipkins, and they got to go through the whole season with it.
Yeah.
Can we do that? But it's not that your backup tackles are some elite guy just sitting there, but the whole unit itself is capable enough to endure one player's loss. And you got somebody who's not full retard. Keon Smith is terrible. Borum is terrible. Borum is not supposed to be there. And Keon Smith.
You can get by at right tackle with Borum. Get by.
I don't know. Yeah. If you have Borum in, everybody's going to know you're not running outside zone to the right. And then you're going to have to bring help for him. He's worse than Jackson. And I'm not big on Jackson.
He's definitely worse than Jackson.
Yeah, but Austin Jackson's not good.
Yeah, but
and
I think
that's
Austin
the interesting part.
We disagree on that. I think Austin's an average right tackle.
No. I mean, I disagree. Because if you you're running outside zone 80% of the time. You're throwing the football 77% of the time, 2-0-4 with 20% screens. How many players could play to his level in the league? Now, if you took Jackson, you put him in a regular team that throws maybe 10% screens. Yeah, the average throw time is 2-4-0, and they're expected to inside zone and outside zone. All of a sudden, Jackson's going to look like a turnstile. But this is such a scheme that's so friendly to offensive linemen that
an athletic offensive lineman. They have athleticism. Jackson's a good athlete.
Sort of.
He's a good athlete. That's another debate we'll have another time. We'll go on. Yeah. We'll do an Austin Jackson debate, me and you. We'll do a whole episode on
before you said he might not be the greatest of all time, but that running game after Jackson went down went to the crap. So he might not be the best right tackle the Dolphins ever had.
Great point.
The proof in the pudding. Once Jackson went down last year, they could not run outside. So
coming in with the dagger.
He's not great, but he fits what Matt likes to do. So it's kind of important in that regard. So
yeah, I would say if you go back and you look at the games, it's not exactly that, but I mean, it's just my opinion. It's
valid. I don't think he's a world beater. I just think he's average. I think when they made the mistake where the Austin Jackson pick, like you picked him at 18, okay, he's your starting right tackle. But you got to remember, they drafted him as their thought as a left tackle. That's why that pick's a bust, right? He took the spot where they thought he was going to be the left tackle. They wasted a pick on a guy they thought would be a left tackle. A right tackle, you could have drafted the third.
Well, the left and the right is because Tua is a left-handed quarterback. The right is the left.
Mike makes a great point. Still, pressure from the outside is pressure from the outside. I mean, they're turntables out there. Keon Smith's a turntable. Ryan Hayes, turntable. The pressure from the outside is still pressure. So but it's true. They're best. Well, the Dolphins have got their best player always at left tackle, even with Tua. Teron Armstead, they got, so.
Well, I think, though, the reason I had Teron there is because he was such a stud, and he'd been there so long.
You just get the best guy you can.
And he could block alone, and then you could roll all your help to that side. You could roll away from Jackson. You could put him on an island, and then you can get help. Because now, this year, you hope Patrick Paul can do that, right? You hope because you got a rookie next to him. All right. Speaking of rookie, let's move on. The guy next to him, Curtis. I know me and you got a lot to say about this player and this pick. Well,
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan. I know you're a fan too. Like you like some of the things.
Yeah, I love the kid,
Yeah,
and I want him to do well, but
So-
I have to evaluate what I'm seeing on.
So he's
the
one
film.
of the players we got a few clips on. You want to go with the clip first and then get into
No, we could do it. We'll go through all the players and we can get to this. Whatever you want to do. You're in charge. I'm just the guy here showing up. So
All right,
you run it.
As we're on Savia, man, let's just go on it. But here's the first thing. That some of the technique stuff that he's got going on this season and preseason is basic, and we talked about it backstage. I don't know how this wasn't cleaned up before.
It's unconscionable.
Yeah.
It's unconscionable that it wasn't resolved.
You know what I compare it to? I compare it to, you get this baseball player who has tremendous raw power, BP, shoots the ball 470, but gets in the game, doesn't really, not a great contact hitter, so he can't get into that power. The in-game power is not there because he can't get into it. And kind of it's with Jonah. There's no issue with the athleticism or the strength. It's that he can't get into it because the technique's bad, and you see him recover. You see the talent when he's actually recovering from a bad play. Let's go to the play. Let's just go to the play. Let's just do
Yes,
this.
sir.
Let's go to the
play. All right. Let's start here. You see Jonah in red, obviously, and here we go. Lost. Right there. Why is it lost? Curtis, look at his hands. Outside on the biceps. They should be inside, closer to those numbers. His head's leaning. Look at the defensive tackle already is going underneath, and his hands are going to shoot inside. And you'll see, there it is. Shoots inside. His hands are wide. Balance is gone. Legs are stiff. And he drives it back. Now, he ends up recovering here. Right there at the end, you can't really tell what happened. He recovers, kind of gets inside a little bit. But that's just a classic case. Curtis, go ahead and you can kind of give your thoughts.
The thing is, it's the technique thing is it's understandable, but when you look at his stance, how wide that is. Look at him; his toes are pointing in the opposite directions. It's not even his technique; it's his stance. He can't even get out of his stance right because his stance is so wide, and he stands with his like a penguin. I just don't understand how a coach would allow the player to come in like that. Now, maybe because he's so big, he hasn't played guard in so long that he's having a hard time getting into his stance. Then that has to be baked into the equation of what you're going to do with this kid. But it's not the hands. Everything you're saying is right. The hands on the outside. There's so many things beyond that. But if your stance ain't right,
it's everything. Nothing's lining up. Look where his head sometimes is over his feet. Like he's lunging a lot too.
I was talking to Greg Main, who's a former coach, and he's a former tackle. And so that first step you take is absolutely critical. But what Jonah does, he picks the foot up and it comes back down in the same spot. And then he's got to get going.
Yeah. Yeah, he should be going.
Look at his feet.
Going.
Look at his toes. Look at his toes. They're pointing
north
and south.
You see the right leg? You mentioned it. The right leg is just the lower body stiff. But then again, here he goes. He gets back. He's able to hold it off, get back inside. But what's going to happen? You're playing against guys that are going to be selling insurance for a month from now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is when he's going now against week one, against whoever, the Colts, whatever team in the regular season, you're getting their best guy and then their second best guy all the time for 4 quarters. The heat doesn't stop. The reason he's so important, he's a rookie on the line, he has to get to a certain level week one or we're going to be in trouble. And you know how much I love Jonah.
Dude, he's got to go against Latu, Stewart.
Oh, I don't. Ooh.
Latu, Buckner is going to hand him his lunch. Even Latu on a stunt. You saw him struggling, and it's not that he can't do it. Look how wide his legs are. He's got to pick the leg up and take a step and get 6 inches to go. But it just stays the same. It's so weird. I don't know. Even look at his butt's higher than his shoulder pads.
Yeah, he's got the wide. Look at the difference of his. Look at the difference of his stance versus everybody else. How wide it is.
It's so bizarre. And then afterwards, his toes stop. Your toes, it's like being a fighter. You got to have your toes pointed at your enemy. You got to point at your inertia where you're attacking at. And they point in opposite directions. You got to be on your flat foot or on the balls of your feet to resist what's coming at you. When it's in the side, that you just buckle. It's crazy.
From start, he actually gets better at the end of the rep, but he struggles so much at the beginning of the rep because he starts out, like you said, the footwork's off. Everything. Look, let's move on to this next play. We're only going to do a couple plays. You see him encircled in red. Okay, oops. I got off too quick.
Yep.
Wrong direction. But here's the good part, right? Look what happens. How many guys are that athletic?
No, that's talent. He's got physical talent.
Remember, you got one arm, you grip it under, and you basically seal him off the play. Now, could he got tripped up by,
Keon almost took him out.
Yeah, almost tore an ACL. But again, let's go back. This is what happens. If this gets cleaned up, I'm excited for what we have there on the left side, Curtis. Like, let's bring it again.
See, watch, go back. When he picks his foot up,
yeah,
and it goes right back to where it was, and then he takes his first step. See, it's got to be 6 inches. You've got to take a half a step to start. It comes right. See, it's right in the same spot.
Same spot. You should.
And now he's leading, because what happens is when you take that foot and you take that first step, it keeps it parallel with your shoulders.
Yes.
But if the foot doesn't move, then the shoulders get over the foot, and you lose your balance.
And you're losing your balance. You're using your power. You lose that initial contact. You lose. He's talented enough to re-win that. Like most guys, they get destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
They're done. It's over. Right there, it's over.
100%.
But you couldn't be more spot on with the footwork. Nothing. Look at, he lunges. It's like he leads with his helmet at times. And here he is, but he recovers. He gets.
It's all about the stance, because he just gets over his toes, because he doesn't go forward. His top part goes forward, and the bottom part stays in the same place.
It's almost like he's still playing right tackle. The way
I don't know what
it's just he's not comfortable.
But how does Butch Barry allow that to continue? That should have been resolved in OTAs. It should have been resolved in mandatories. It should have came in week 1 with at least a stance and your footing down. Like, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah. It's all, when I first watched it, I was watching the All 22, and I was like, man, this stuff seems so basic. Like, the basic eye is going to be able to see this. Like, everything looks different compared to who's lining up next to. Again, you said the toes pointing outward. Like, his bottom half is so stiff in the initial burst. It's like, what's going on? And then
listen, I'm a nobody. I'm Mr. Potato Head. I do YouTube. I turned the film. I watched all 22, studying for one game. This game, I felt like I was on acid. I'm like, what am I seeing?
I agree. It looks so.
I had to like.
I don't know if you agree with me. He looks so uncomfortable.
Totally.
So uncomfortable. But how did it get he's been OTAs, training camp? How did it get to this where this hasn't been cleaned up?
Greg May called it malpractice.
Yeah, it is almost.
Coaching malpractice.
Now, we say important because I'm telling you right now, yes, he recovers, but this won't happen against Buckner and NFL. He will lose the rep and it'll be noticeable.
All right, dude.
Okay?
Forget it.
He's got to get ready. We'll go to you, Sammy. Most important player. How important is Jonah Savania?
Well, there's a reason why they put all the chips in the deck and waited for the draft to basically get a guard, because preseason went by and they didn't make moves. Of course, they got Andrews and he's coming for an injury. He's so far so good, but we're expecting the Dolphins after Chris Greer, the season ended, said we're gonna take this defensive line seriously. He waited until the draft and he made his move. He moved picks and got Savania. So he bet. That's his bet. That's Chris Greer's bet to fix the defensive line. So if it doesn't work, where the season's gonna go. So, as a fan, because I'm not as knowledgeable as you guys, as I always admit it, I'm fascinated.
That was like a nerd session, Curtis.
I'm always fascinated by guys like you, George, and Curtis, and others who had the ability to explain to us, the guy that. The common fans, so to speak, who enjoy the game, who have knowledge.
Don't give us that much credit.
Because I hear Curtis saying he says, come on. Curtis is a knowledgeable guy, George, you too. So for guys like me, who learn from guys like you on this part of the game, the posture, the timing, the reps, when you see something like that, it opens our eyes. It's worrisome. So I'm here looking at that. Now I'm worried. I'm more worried now than what I used to be, and I was very worried about defensive line. So,
was he a guard? No, he played all over the place, but he primarily played right tackle. He even played left tackle. That's why
his last season he split 50-50 just
about. That's why I'm so surprised that he struck because he has experience on both sides, whether it's tackle or guard. It's not like it's foreign to him to be on the left side.
You should go back and watch him in college at guard. I just watched a few reps of him.
I watched more. My memory stops after I watch and the draft's over. That's a great thing. I'm gonna go back and only watch the guard film. I want to kind of
if that's his normal MO, it's a compounding problem in two ways.
Well, Patrick Paul kind of had that similar thing, right? He had this not the same thing, but the point of like he would use bad technique and stuff. But I got to the point he improved, but that's who he is, and he's.
But you know what it was?
Like this,
it was Patrick Paul has some foot placement issues. But this is in your stance and coming out of your stance.
That's the difference.
And then there's no way that a football player can play like this, sidestepping and moving.
What concerns me is
it's got to be
Butch Berry's got to have seen that. So what concerns me is is that just a way? I got to go back and look at the guard tape on that. Like because there's no way they haven't told him about that. No way.
Well, there's no way that look, if it's just like anything else. You have a kid and a kid's screwing up, your son or your daughter. You just got to say, look, you're not using the video games. You're not going out until you fix this. And it's got to get fixed because if it's not fixed, you're going to end up totally screwing up. So it's hard line. I'm actually running that on my son right now. And so they should have just said to him, look, this is basic football. Football players don't move with their feet like this. It's this. Your stance is so wide, you take your first step and you're supposed to be like this. Like you got to bring it in. You got it. And you know what it was? Greg Maynard, who has had a great comment. He said his legs are so wide and his hands go wide to keep the balance. So it's all together.
That's why the hand placement is not in the chest. And he's giving up his chest way too much. He's got too much strength. His strength, when he's on in college, one thing I noticed, Curtis, is the grip strength and the hand strength he had. He can't. He uses it, but like he starts out that's a great point by Greg. Like his base is so wide, your arms naturally will match that, and he's starting on the out. I agree with Patrick Paul. Hand stuff was Patrick Paul's biggest problem. His stance looked good. Like the footwork was good. Like it was the hand stuff.
Yeah, he cheated a little. His biggest thing is he cheated for the inside. So he's always kind of doing this. Right, he didn't trust himself.
But what happens is he's in better shape now. He's a little more athletic. And again, I will tell you, guys with 36 arms don't bench press 31 times.
No.
He's got rare stuff. He's got rare stuff there.
But if your feet, it all starts with your feet. It's just like a fighter. Offensive lineman is striking. It's just like being a fighter. His feet are terrible.
And all this hand battling stuff he had when he's late with everything because the beginning of the technique is horrible and he's late and then he hand battles, all this crazy stuff. But what I am optimistic about is when it comes together and he's able to recover.
But do we have the coaching? To me,
it's got to.
Okay, so for me, it's just like this. If it was my player, I'd have had him tie his shoelaces so he couldn't move his feet past a certain point. I'd have him doing reps in his stance. I'd be on top of him. Yeah. Hey, your shoulders are lower than your butt. Your legs are too far out. Take that first step. Yeah. It can't come back in the same place, kid. It's got to go 6 inches. You're not playing until this gets resolved because you're hurting the team and it's unconscionable. Yeah. It's so basic. It would be done. It all lines up.
It's a domino effect. The stance in the beginning, the base off so wide, the feet pointing out, it all comes together. I think maybe in college at guard, maybe he got away with it a lot, right?
But they should have saw that on film when they were drafting him and said, look, we got to take care of this. And if he doesn't, then that's a major problem.
Even if they thought, okay, they can fix it, why hasn't it been fixed yet?
He shouldn't. I'd have said, you're not starting until you get this fixed.
Well, I mean, they will get it.
Because this what happened to Austin Jackson, what happened to Eichenberg. They put him into the deep water before he could swim, and then he started taking shortcuts, and then he had bad technique on top.
They drafted him, and they knew they were, like Sammy said earlier. I'll get to you, Sammy. Now, they drafted him to be the starter at left guard or right guard at guard day one. They didn't go after anybody else. They went after Daniels, and they said this guy's going to be our starter. Now, they handed it to him, so that's a great point. But again, malpractice is the right word. That this basic stuff, and
because it's not his fault. It's not his fault. The coach should be resolving that.
Yeah, this is stuff. I mean, it takes time to work on, but there should be improvement really quick, and he has to get ready.
Look, George, I'm sorry. I'm so heated over this.
Go for
it. If you're a coach, the most basic thing is, son, that setup is not cutting it. If I see you go out there, it's a problem. How come his simple stance hasn't been resolved? Like it's not like something you can grow into. It's automatically a bad start. Yeah. So until that stance is corrected, everything's going to flow out of it wrong. Mm-hmm. It should have been resolved.
We got 275 people watching our platform. Let's get some more.
So I'm sorry. I really like the kid. I love the offensive line. I just don't understand it. Like, I was blown away. I thought I was high.
We are.
I'm like, am I hallucinating here?
We are aligned on this. It looked uncomfortable and awkward, right? And again,
Butch Barry, we trust, should have taken care of that.
Yeah. Again, we got 275 people watching our platforms. Come on, guys. Let's get some more likes. Let's get some subscriptions. We're with Finn, Sammy, and Curtis. We're breaking down the most important guys. We just did a little film clips of Jonah Savania. If you guys are missing this, make sure you check it out. This is a good one. Sammy, sorry about that.
I love it. I'm here.
Go for it. Jump in.
No, listen. Everything you said is 100% correct, of course. But you have to remind yourself that there's a reason why he was a second-round pick. There's a reason why it wasn't a true right tackle or a true right guard or a true left guard. What Curry's saying is completely right. But they should have. There's some things that is worrisome because as a coach, you have to take hands down and fix it right now. But Patrick Paul last year was a mess. The problem is that right now, if you say you're not going to start unless you fix it, who's going to start? Because that's again, Chris Graham is his bet, and now he needs to light on it too. So there's
better nails.
Better nails. Yes, he's a better nails, but what he said. But it's the truth. It's the truth. It's a problem. But it might take a couple of weeks before he finds a way to resolve it because he's a rookie. He didn't have a true starting position on the offensive line even in college. So, it is what it is. Well, probably by week 5 or week 6, hopefully it's better, but who knows?
Like, Real has he has an interesting take. I'm going on record and saying this. I think it's going to get figured out. But I'm just saying it has to get figured out pretty soon, though.
It's got to get figured by the coaches first. The coaches have to say.
By him, the coaches, they got to
this is
figure
how
it out.
you do it.
Yeah, but
I'm not mad at him. He's got all the physical talent in the world, but it's the coach's job to coach him and to demand.
That's what I saw in college.
Things.
4.95, the size, he doesn't look. He's 330 pounds. Yeah,
it's not physical.
It's not physical at all. The talent is there, and that's the good.
But your stance should be the most basic thing. Yeah. If you look the other side, they had Carmen Jackson showing you how to do it. Carmen Jackson sucks.
He sucks is not the word.
It's like a quarterback with bad footwork.
Exactly. Yep. It all starts with footwork. And
all right.
Placement.
Are we moving on from Jonah?
Yes, please, because I feel my blood pressure rising. I'm going to sit here and rage and vent for like an hour. I could probably.
If you guys are anywhere else, join tonight. We got good stuff going on here. All right. The theme is continuing. Okay, I put this guy on the list not because of A-Chain's injury, none of that. He brings the one element. I just did the Brian Windhorst, and I didn't even know it. He brings the one element that this team doesn't have: power. And I said the two things that are going to change this fate of this team this season to surprise people will be the front seven and if they establish a power running game. He brings an element that no other back in this, especially with the injuries to Matheson, can bring. If they have somebody at 220 pounds run like him, and you start off early in the season with him, and he continues to develop, and the decisiveness stays, he improves in pass pro, he catches the ball in the backfield, and he brings that different element, you found something here, and you kind of change your identity a little bit of your team. Go ahead, Curtis. Your thoughts, Ollie Gordon, one of the most important Dolphin players. You agree?
Listen, I'm very rarely impressed. Like shocked impressed. Not impressed, but shocked impressed. People were talking about Ollie Gordon, and I watched him get to the second level, and guys just falling off him.
Yes,
he was so impressive. But the thing with him is, though, because he's so high cut, and he's not a big slider down the line of scrimmage, and he's not fast enough to get to the edge, if he was like on the Ravens with that offensive line, he would do a great job. Or if he was on, Philly or something. It's just running backs in the offensive line it's a marriage. And just like Jalen Wright, you watch Jalen Wright, everyone's like, look how good he is from his college clips. They were almost all draws, and he was getting a yard or two behind the line of scrimmage, and then he made his cut. And now he's got to make his cut and choices a yard before the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. And so this guy is a player. He really is. But will it merge with our offensive line? That's the question.
Here's the thing. I'm going to let Sammy go next. If I go back to the word decisiveness with him. It was the biggest difference because I look back in college when we were doing the draft, the tape of the different seasons. Like, what was going on? Did they focus on it more? Did they have 8, 9 guys in the box? Yeah, the offensive line play was bad. The quarterback sucked, but they didn't focus much more than they did the year before. But if for some reason he was hesitant, the vision wasn't there, he looked slower than he was, and he didn't break tackles. And I'm seeing more of the 23 Doak Walker version. I think he's somewhere probably in the middle of both of those seasons. But, like, I thought if you saw Ollie Gordon come out and just look slow, lumbering, and getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage, okay, this is 24 was real. But what we're seeing here is he's running through arm tackles, and he's playing faster because he's not hesitant. Jalen Wright wasn't good last year. Jalen Wright, people think he's good in the outside zone. His better runs were in the inside zone. His vision is horrible in the outside zone. Because he looked like an outside zone runner. We were projecting that. Jalen Wright, and his vision's even gotten worse this year. He's bigger. He doesn't look as fast to me. Like, it's like playing I always say this with linebackers and safeties or defensive players. When guys are so intelligent and they play a yard or two ahead of everybody, that's how they're quicker. Zach Thomas got there, looked like he ran a 4.4 because he was 2 yards ahead of the linebacker who had no instincts, right? That's what I'm seeing with Ollie Gordon. That's important for him. And I think he brings an element of power that's so important. This team lacks that. This running gun stuff, the league's figured it out. It's over. It's over. Sammy.
Run ball is dying.
Yes. Sammy.
We were talking before the show started how the mighty have fallen. Because the running back position the Dolphins used to, that's the position the Dolphins are set. We don't need Alexander Madison. He's gonna be cut by the second week of training camp. And look at us now. Who would have thought? Not me, because the Dolphins right now are starving for running back help. So Jalen Wright has been disappointed. As we talked before, that he went on a media tour saying how he was ready for the season, and right now his confidence is basically shut. Ollie Gordon is key, not only because of the body, the kind of running he might bring, but he said, just because of the fact that he's catching the ball well. He's, if we don't have a true proven tight end catching the ball out of the backfield, might serve the Dolphins well. So a guy like Ollie Gordon, for sure, that makes him one of the most important players of the team because he's a running back. And a running back that the depth has basically gone away, who's able to catch the ball really, really well. So he's very important key for the Dolphins. Maybe not the most important part if you lose him, because the Dolphins might find a way to do something else, but for sure, he's definitely, as of right now, has the potential to be one of the more players of this team.
Yeah. We got 300 people watching from all over.
Nice. Thank you, everybody.
Let's make sure we get, thanks to everybody. Let's get more likes in here, more subscriptions. Let's get everybody come to YouTube. Join us in the chat. We love the chat, brother. We love it. All right. Moving on.
Tell me what I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, about what? Yes.
About everything.
Sammy's always wrong. All right. Malik Washington. I'll let somebody else start here. Why is he important, Sammy?
I wish Jason Sarney was here with us tonight. Shout out to Jason.
Yeah, shout out to Jason. He couldn't join us. He's got some other things going on. He's on vacation.
Because as you know, that's his guy.
Yeah.
But as of last year's rookie class, he's probably one of the gems of the rookie class, because that rookie class is not like this year's rookie class. That was very thing. So to having us, again, we have small wide receivers. We expect some of the bigger wide receivers the Dolphins have tried to bring the last couple of years to pan out, especially this year. But Malik Washington is not the biggest guy, but as a special teamer, as a wide receiver number 3, he does the part. So I expect Waddle Asian as always. I'm sorry, Waddle or Tariq to lose a game or two because that's what always happens every single year. So have a guy like Manny Washington with his abilities, who runs fast, runs hard, can play special teams, is clutch because for a rookie, some of the catches he made last year were really clutch. So if he can take the next step, for sure he can be one of the more important players in this team for sure this season.
Curtis, why is Malik Washington important?
Look, they're going to focus on Waddle. They're going to focus on Hill. You come out in 11 personnel. You need someone to punish them either on the outs, coming underneath Hill or coming underneath Waddle, doing their post fly, whatever, or going over the middle. And you don't want Hill and Waddle to because remember, we would run those pocket posts, and then somewhere in the middle of 23, they said, okay, let him catch it, bring the safety up in the pit, and as soon as he catches, jack him. And they were out almost every time. Oh, they're on the sidelines. They're out of game. Malik Washington, even Taj Washington, you saw, are tough young guys. They're built a little bit thicker. Certainly Malik is.
Yeah.
And so you need those guys to take those punishing hits and also do the work underneath Hill and Waddle. And so in some ways, the third receiver is going to be more important than the other two because Waddle and Hill are going to set the leverage, but they're going to get the focus. And it's going to demand these guys, the third guys, to do something, Achane obviously to coming out of the backfield, to make them pay for not focusing on them. And then when they bring the focus off Hill and Waddle on these guys, then it's up to Waddle and Hill to make them pay on that. And that's the yin and yang, the tension.
Yes. We saw Jonah take advantage of last year. He was the guy. He was he was the weapon because teams look when you line Waddle and Reek up, like teams they're gonna be afraid. They're always gonna respect that. So who's the guy who can capitalize on it? And Malik, one thing I love Malik when 2024 draft, he was like in my top 100, like at the end of it. He was actually my 100th player. This is before I did, the board how I'd set it up, Curtis. I told you by the seat.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah, this is before I was doing the show. And I couldn't believe we got him because he's built like Reek. He doesn't have his biggest weakness is he's got solid speed, but he doesn't have that top end.
Nobody. Hill's insane.
But what he does is, for a small guy, he gets vertical really well. He's only small in height. He's built like a running back, strong hands, doesn't drop passes, really good after the catch. This guy could be the weapon. You want to be you want to be. It's like playing in the NBA when you have the big two, and you have that third guy. You can eat off these guys. And I don't think it's going to be a tight end unless Waller steps up. And I don't know how confident I am NWI doing that, right? So this guy is, to me, important because you have to have the offense less predictable. Again, I always tell you, fastball, you need a slider and a changeup, right? And you need to keep adding pitches. And then your bread and butter is your fastball. You throw that fastball, it looks like 105 instead of 95 because you're expecting maybe a curveball. The Dolphins only had fastball, and everybody was timing hitting it over the fence towards that 22nd half of 23, and then mostly in 24. So you need that weapon, that extra weapon, and I think he's the key to it. I think he's the best option. And Waller, if Waller gets comes out, maybe it's him, but I think it might come more from Lee. All right. Anything else?
300 watching on X, George. So shout out to those watching on X.
Shout out 300 on X. Let's get some more on YouTube. Bring some of those X. I'm asking you guys, come on over. We have a great show. We're breaking everything down. Come on over to YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that little bell, subscribe, support us. We're doing our best. I promise you, the Fins Faithful, we are working hard behind the scenes to give you the best Miami Dolphin content. We do everything here. Film breakdown, draft, analysts, everything. Where else are you going to get the most versatile? Everything you got in the tool bag, we do here. So, sorry, I'm patting ourselves on the back a little bit. But Sammy always says I need to do that more, right? As we lose viewers. Okay, moving on. Storm Duck. Curtis, why is Storm Duck important?
Because we're like, cupboard baron on the cornerback group, and Duck is supposedly the guy that's going to be leading the way. So last I checked, cornerbacks are important in this league. So
yeah, they do help. They do help.
I don't know. I'm just
the best
that's a bit. That's a little bit.
So we just need him to. We need somebody to step up. And I'm not really. Jack Jones is okay. He's 50-50. Sometimes he does really well.
High, man. He's up. His highs are real high, but his lows are low, man.
And Hilton's struggling. I thought Hilton was going to be better, but it looks like maybe something's going on there.
Yeah, he was the guy who was playing on the slot. We'll talk about the guy who might be on the slot, and maybe even next year. But Storm Duck, they have to count on him on the outside to be more consistent. He's the guy. I thought he played okay last year. I think he does really good underneath stuff. He recognizes, reacts good underneath. I think he's good in zone, and maybe they play a little more zone this year, or but they just don't have anybody. He's the one guy, I think, who can take the next step on the outside and maybe exceed expectations and help this group because they're young, and he's the only guy. I think he's the only guy. He's important. If that group has success, Storm Duck has got to be consistent and take that next step. Your thoughts, Sammy?
Well, Chris, again, we're going back to the best general manager in the NFL, Chris Greer, who basically, again, laid his bet, and now he has to sleep in it because he bet on the development of the corners, the undrafted corners he basically has accumulated the last couple of years. So Storm Duck, because he's not going to bet on Cam Smith, he's not going to cut it because he's one of these picks, but you just can't bet on Cam Smith. But Storm Duck is one of those undrafted corners that, the 8 corners that, he picked up, and he's expecting them to develop. He's betting on those players to develop and to take the next step up.
It's the new offensive line room.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends. The jury's out on that, so we don't know. But for being important, yes, for sure he's important because Chris Greer basically has no other choice for him to be important because that's the risk he took. Now he has to wait and see if the players that he undrafted signed develop into the players he expected them to be. So he's used for the Dolphins, but time will tell because I'm not sure that when you have the kind of competition the Dolphins might face this year, because the Dolphins are going to see some. It's not like last year where the schedule was full with teams over 500. The Dolphins are going to see some pretty good teams this year. So Storm Duck is going to
6
put over Shuttle for
games.
sure. Yeah, he has to put over Shuttle for sure. So we don't know probably before week 1 what Storm Duck is paying off. So hopefully he
I love you, DR, but not too sure about that.
We're fine with about it. Yes, sure.
All right, let's move on. Anything else on Storm Duck? No. All right.
I love his name.
Good luck, Storm Duck.
Okay. I'll start with this guy. So, college film. I always go back to the college where my love is the draft. 90% of this guy was outside corner. 90% of the time, he barely played anything in the slot. All of a sudden, and to play slot, let's make it clear, you have to be physical, especially in the run game. Think like a Kader Kohu, who's playing in the slot and really come up against physical against the run. Totally the opposite what you saw in college. He's a big kid, 6 foot, 201, but effort and not wanting to really tackle and get involved or on field with it. But he lines up in the slot against the Lions. And I was impressed. There were some bad plays in pass. There were some few times he was real soft in coverage, got turned around. But what I want to see is a slot is how do you come up and get physical in the run game and tackling. And he did a really good job. And they lined him up again in there. He's coming on a little bit here. I think this rookie class is really extending down the line here. I think he could start at nickel corner for you. I think that could be where it's trending. You mentioned Mike Hilton, Curtis. He hasn't been doing much. He's important because if you can get him, a rookie, to start and play one in the slot, he's important, Curtis.
Well, you know what it is? It's like it's all possible, but it's just like with the UDFAs. I think only 2% of UDFAs stick to a team.
Yeah.
So you had Cater, Bonner, and you got Duck.
Be careful with the boners and the ducks,
That's 3 UDFAs that you're banking on to run your cornerback group.
Yeah.
But historically speaking, it's only 1 or 2%. It's like a riverboat roll.
Yeah.
And I hope it works out. I'm praying it does. But, football team building life is about hedging your bets and hedging your odds. And, you take some long shots. You just can't keep swinging for the fences. It's going to be hard because even Marshall, it takes a while for cornerbacks, and he's a young cornerback, and you got Duck, who's had 1 year experience. It's asking a lot. Can it happen? I hope so. They got talent. They've shown some stuff, but when you pull it together, it's a big role, man. It's like, I'm just going all on black 32 or whatever it is. It's risky. It's possible. And because even let's say they gel by week 5 or 6, you could drop 1 or 2 games because they're in the process of gelling, and then the season gets sabotaged. They could come out and play great. We could go undefeated and win the Super Bowl. That's possible too, but I just don't feel like I feel like Greer is kind of crazy. I think he takes crazy pills, and the whole league is like, all right, here, this is how we do it. Chris Greer's like, screw that. I know how to do it better. Here we go. And he's like, and it don't work. You know what I mean?
I think he doesn't know how to construct the roster properly, so he's kind of got to kind of plug the leaking holes anywhere he can. I think that's more.
But he created the leaky holes. Yes, we had unprecedented capital, and he said, "Screw that! I got Van Ginkel. I don't need him. Let me go get Chubb and spend 50 picks. I got Waddle. I spent 2 firsts on. Let me go get Hill and give a draft for that." Like it's like, is
roster construction is his biggest problem. It's not. He can target some players and evaluate. Like, I think he's okay.
Yeah, of course.
It's the ability to construct it properly and know when to go here and this puzzle piece first and this one second. He does it the complete opposite. Like this draft they had should have been something focused on, a few years ago. We can go on and we can go on and on and on. And on. Sammy. Mr. Marshall Jr.
Well, for
I'm going to
sure.
show you a couple clips too of him now. We're gonna get into one clip.
I'm just gonna say before you go to the clips, because I know you wanted to keep this short, but I didn't have leaky holes in my bingo card, so go to
the tape. All right. Oh shoot. Okay, let's go to let's get a little anything else to add, Sam, while I pull up this video? Anything else on Marshall? Do you like what you've seen so far? Sammy?
I wish Jason was here because Jason is a expert on Jason Macho.
Oh, yeah. I saw his tweet. All right. Let's bring it up here. All right. So you see Marshall Jr. here will end up lined up on Bell, the receiver number 10, in the slot over. Okay. And Bell was blocking pretty decently in this game for a receiver. So here we go in the slot. Boom. Shoots inside, wins, has the strength to hold him off, and then look, breaks down for the tackle, and finishes it. That's
tackling.
Textbook, Curtis. We'll bring it again, and we'll show you the other angle. Lines up over. This, my friends, if you're going to be a slot, forget about what happens in coverage. You have to do this. This is a requirement, one. And I wasn't sure he had the physical tools, but the tape at college didn't show me that. Again, lined up, and what you love here. Boom. Shoots the block quick inside, slices through inside, and then breaks down. Look at that.
That's
breaks
good
down,
job.
anticipate where the tackle is. Textbook. Finishes the tackle.
That's a good job.
That's a good. That's a good rep in the building. When they go through game reps, that's a good rep in the building. We'll show you the other angle on this. Same thing. That's yeah. He's over the top. We see where Curtis is. He's right there. Beats him underneath. Breaks down. Finishes the tackle. One more time. Curtis, anything to add on this?
Nah, he did a good job. He's physical.
Right, but he didn't do this in college. He didn't play the slot in college. I didn't see this.
Well, he's on his last stop, so he knows he's got to give it all, man.
Some guys don't do it. He didn't have the effort in college. He showed lack of effort, like to get physical.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
you're a college guy. You're a draft guy.
So this is what surprised me. I mean, this is a textbook rep.
That's the question. There's any really tackling before corners on college football? Because I for sure haven't seen a lot of tackling for corners in college football. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a fan. I think, guys, I think if they find some here, it's important.
You have any coverage? Was there any other film on him with the coverage?
I just wanted to show that clip, and this is not a coverage he did have.
You got me excited. I wanted to see.
You know what? I'll get the coverage next time. It'll be on
More.
Show, man.
Yeah,
Tease.
Tease next show.
Show the leg and then pull the back.
Because I just wanted to make, because the nickel, just a tip, we just.
And I'm like, oh, maybe I got to get a little higher on this guy. And I'm like,
Leaky holes, just the tip. What's going on here?
Oh, all right. So my point is that in coverage, he kept the ball in front of him a few times. He had one where he really got really soft in coverage. It kind of got turned around.
It was the out, right? The out on the right-hand side, yeah. He had a bad drop. It was like all discombobulated.
It was
slow to pop.
Yeah, the hip, it wasn't smooth. Put it like that.
But how'd you see his other stuff, though? I didn't really study him out.
As far as in the slot, I thought he was pretty good. Like I said, he didn't get a ton of stuff thrown his way, but I thought he was pretty good. I thought after a couple of mistakes,
check him out.
Yeah, check it out. I thought one of them, he kept the play in front of him. It was a 3rd and long or end of the quarter situation, or I don't remember. But he did what he had to do, kept it in front of him. It's fine. And then the one that I really noticed was the one we got turned around a little bit. But he's got the physicality, and I just wanted to show that because the emphasis on the run game. And I didn't know to play the slot you have to have that because you're going to be a lot of times.
You're like basically the will linebacker.
Yeah, you're close to the line of scrimmage. You're not on the outside. So that's what surprised me. So I'm hoping we found something here. Anybody, Sammy, Jason Marshall Jr., Curtis, anything left on Jason Marshall Jr., or pretty much we wrapped that up?
Yeah, other than you should have brought some more film.
Next time we'll get some. I'm starting to get into film stuff here. And so now I know people like it, right?
And I like it.
All right.
Milton's probably going to be out because I don't think they're going to want to guarantee
I
his
think
contract. So
just
they might
give
cut
him a
him
shot.
and bring him back and put him in the practice squad because that's a veteran. But, for plays like that, I would not be surprised with that. So,
why is this guy important, Curtis? Why is Chop?
Well,
we got to put some superstars on here.
Yeah, well, it's not even look. He's just got to take whatever his run. We know what he can do in a pass rush, but just like Jalen Phillips year one, they were pulling him out in the red zone. They were pulling him out on 2-way go downs, and then the next year he came back and he got substantially better. And once he was able to manage the rundowns and be a part of the red zone, he got more reps and critical downs, and his stats started going up. And his impact started going up. And this guy is an important guy for us. And it's got to start with him being on the field more and being in those critical downs, that 3rd and 4 in the red zone. And so if he could do that, it takes the weight off Jalen. It takes the weight off Chubb. You have a guy that people are afraid of in game planning in the pass game. And then they're not going to say, I don't care about him in the run defense. It just changes what the OC wants to put their focus on. So you put it on Jalen, you put it on Seelage, you put it on Gay blitzing in, do you put it on Chop? It stretches the focus and it leaves gaps within the play call. And that's what we need. So he's got to be an every down player on those critical downs.
Yeah, I think to me it's more of also, I agree with everything you said. And it's going to be interesting how they use these.
Oh, that's good. I wasn't sure if I was right or not.
Yeah, I agree. But why Chop's so important to me
Feels
is
good.
This is the guy who has the. When I say, I don't think there's anybody in this roster with as much potential, star potential as Chop Robinson. And
yeah.
And I say that, and I go back to what I said is most important. The front 7 pressure they want to create this year is going to be the key to their defense and a big key to their season. That and establishing a running game with some effective power, not just style over substance. Those are 2 things I want to see this season.
Agreed.
This guy's the double-digit sack potential guy, and if he gets off rolling, it's going to open up for the other guys. I don't want to see him regress. I don't want to see him stay linear. I need him. I think it's so important he takes the next level. Takes it to the next level. This season.
But for me, it starts in the run game because if he's got 2 trails, he can go the Marvin Ingram route, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I want him to be on the field. I want him not to be a liability on the field.
Yeah, Marvin Ingram got it together around 5 or 6
He's going to make his money getting to the quarterback. We know that. But if he could be adequate in the run game, he improved somewhat last year, I thought, towards the end. So that's my Sammy, Chop Robinson.
Well, if you want to really know how important Chop Robinson is, just remember how the world stopped when that tweet came out or that post came out that he was injured during practice. The Finns Nation world just stopped. For a minute, everybody's like, okay, we can have any nice things. The season's over. Turn out the lights. The party's over. And everything in between. So, how important is Shot Robinson? The Dolphins Nation let you know how important Shot Robinson is that day. Yeah. We dodged the bullet that day. Fingers crossed. God bless him. Everything the better for him. But defensive end for the Dolphins. That's the position that's basically the last couple of years that usually something happens. So I'm very confident we dodged the bullet this year, and Chubb is going to have a great season. He exceeded expectations. If you go by a certain reporter that that believes that he's nothing special, the Dolphins lose Chubb Robinson, nothing happened. But
who is that?
So someone who goes with, I think it's Homer Jelly or something like that. I'm not really sure about his name. Homer Jelly. I'm not so. The name is just vanished from my mind. But that report says that he's nothing special. He has only one move. That it is what it is. But the Dolphins fans know how important Shot Robinson is for this fan base.
But I mean, he's important. I think it's important for him. Not only we know how important,
even with the depth at defensive end.
Yeah, it's important for him not to take a linear step. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we assume all these things and we have expectations, and then they don't.
Sophomore slump.
Yeah, sophomore slump. It's important. It will set the tone and it'll create for so many other people. And he's the one with the superstar potential. All right, last one. There's plenty more we could talk about, but Mika is the glue back there. We know there's a lack of talent in that secondary. He's the All-Pro. He's got to get back close to that All-Pro season. They need him to kind of not only be a leader, but play to that level, create turnovers is something they haven't done. I think he's the glue back there. Sammy, you're
I want to go last. I want to go last, Serge. I want to go last.
Curtis, go ahead.
Yeah, obviously. He's the most impactful secondary player that you have. And he's the guy that's going to be playing the top, and we're going to try to keep the top clean and keep everything underneath so we can get, hey, look, maybe we don't have the best cornerback, keep it underneath, make the tackle, get it to the red zone, or maybe get a, interception or a fumble one way, and hey, worst case scenario, 3 points. Now we got this big-time offense. It should be putting touchdowns to match threes. So he's the guy to do it. He's the robber role. He's the guy coming in, being the field general. So, yeah, he's kind of important.
Yeah, kind of important. But I especially with what's around him. That's why he's so important. He's got to bail some of these guys. He's got to bail them out sometimes. Imagine these corners we got now with like Jordan Poyer and even Javon Hall. Like Fitzpatrick gives you a little hope to bail people out a little bit. With again, we talk about guys being a couple yards ahead. He has that kind of football IQ. We need him back closer to that All-Pro season. He declined a little bit last year. We need him back playing at that level. In that group. Go ahead, Sammy.
Well, I knew you were going to say about the X's and O's and how important Minkah Fitzpatrick is for this team. But when you think about it, this season was going to be defined in so many ways of what the Dolphins did with Jalen Ramsey. The Dolphins found a way to trade Jalen Ramsey for Minkah Fitzpatrick. So if you go by the reports of what's going on at Steelers camp with Jalen Ramsey and what's happening in the Dolphins camp with Minkah Fitzpatrick, by now you should be very confident the Dolphins won this trade.
So what's going on? Speed me. Tell me, Sam. I don't know. I wasn't paying.
If I go to the reports, Jalen Ramsey was burned a couple of times during joint practice by a certain wide receiver. So if you go by what the Steelers fans are saying, they're kind of worried right now. I did my research. That's what I found. That probably was that day, and everything's over the water under the bridge. But for the Dolphins, it was important to win this trade. For Chris Greer, it was important to win this trade. For the strength of the secondary, it was important to even things out as much as possible. So the Dolphins not only did it good on the trade, they might end up winning this trade. So it's huge for the Dolphins. Yeah, because they have a good season. Being good players.
I always say that about the trade is we expected them to get worse, right, when they lost Ramsey, but they actually came out with a player of his quality on a different position.
As I'm saying, they basically looks like they might have won the trade.
Yeah. Well,
that's outstanding.
There's plenty more guys that we could have talked about. I know, Curtis, you had a couple. You said Brooks and Sealer. You want to quickly?
Well, for me, it's you have three levels. You have the line of scrimmage. You have the secondary level that ties the secondary to the front, the linebacking group, and then you had the safety. And Sealer is the best guy by far at creating interior pressure, controlling the run. And then Brooks, you can't replace him if anything happens to him. And he ties the front and the back. So when you look at it, it's you got Minka, the general at the top. You got Brooks, who's able to do anything, and he's tying it all together. And you got Sealer, who's the engine running the interior and the deep front, drawing those doubles, getting the quick pressure. So all three of those levels, I just felt like those are the most critical guys. But to your point, they're not stepping up. We know what they can do. It's kind of like if they just do what they're doing, that's fine. And we expect that. The other guys that you had mentioned, they've got to kind of put their game up to pull it all together to be the rest of the stuff. So, but that's why I said those guys.
Yeah, and there's plenty of guys who can go over, but these are kind of the guys I keyed out for different reasons, like you said, are keys and guys who need to step up and take their game maybe to the expectation level we don't have. Shout out over 400 people on our platforms.
Sweet.
Make sure when the video, we're going to get out of here soon, but make sure you guys come over to YouTube and give it a like, and hit that little bell if you like what you saw. We had fun tonight, us three, Sammy and Curtis. Before we'll wrap it up there, we'll be back Saturday night, giving the post-game coverage. I don't know if Sammy wants to join me or even Curtis. Saturday night, we have a party, a little post-game coverage after the game here in the Fins Faithful. But before we go, Sammy, what do you got going on in Fins TV?
Well, we're going to be back on Fins TV September the 2nd for our season premiere show. And we're going to be on Fins TV Plus on FTSN. We're going to have we're already working on some former 2003 fan of the year for the Colts to join the show behind the enemy lines. We're going to do some, talk about the Dolphins, talk about the Colts. Mm-hmm. That's going to be on Thursday, September 4th at 7:30 on FTSN.
Excellent, brother.
Curtis, excellent. What you got going on? Great show today. What you got going on your channel, Ace Per Head?
I do the YouTube thing. I do my thing. I cover the Dolphins, trying to cover all the teams, but I think I need more Geritol than I normally take to have the energy to do it. So I just focus on the Dolphins. Ace Per Head, Curtis and Ace Per Head. I try to do Twitter, but that is like a land of insanity, and it burns me out. So I lay off it for 2 or 3 days. And
small doses, Curtis. Small doses.
Yeah, it's a tough place to exist. So it's YouTube, or Curtis at Fins News 1 on the crazy Twitter thing.
Yeah, I said I wanted to keep the show, and now I just never can. There's so much. When we get talking, it's like we're at a bar just chilling and or having a drink and just keep going and going and going. And but it's good stuff, good content. So we appreciate over the 430 people watching. Make sure you come to the video after it's over and give it a like. And if you want to subscribe, you like to look at my face. I don't know why you would. Hopefully the content's good. Keep this going here on Fins Faithful. All right, guys. So what are you laughing about, Sammy?
That beautiful.
What are you laughing about?
That beautiful face of yours.
All right, we're getting out of here. For Sammy, for Curtis, for myself. Fins up, fellas. We are out.
Good times, guys. Thank you, everybody.